Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare Jayo Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jayo Jagat संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज जी की जय। सुरभि ठीक है, दोन वर कर, दोन की होती, हाँ बस। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, welcome you all to today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of the Bhakti Vaibhav session.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभुजी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Dandavas Prabhuji's, Mataji's. So last time we were discussing how Lord Brahma, after explaining to Narada Muni the explanations or clarifications for questions that Narada Muni had posed, explained how Lord Krishna, uh, through the Virat Rupa form that he manifests from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, how he is both the material, the nimitta cause, as well as the upadan, the effective cause for the creation of this cosmic manifestation. And then Lord Brahma also explains from text 17-18 onwards how he himself has perceived through his own personal sense perception this particular fact of Lord being the material and the efficient cause of the creation, that how he collected different ingredients for the sacrifices that are needed, and even the subsequent generations of creations including the devatas, the prajapatis, and so on and so forth, and even us human beings in the present times are also taking ingredients for our day-to-day sustenance and performance of the sacrifices. That means for our day-to-day sustenance, we are utilizing the ingredients from the very same body of Lord Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And then we discussed Lord Brahma's humility, how he himself confirms that although he is considered as the supermost, topmost of the living entities, the first created living entity with most sharpened and developed intelligence. But still, he, out of his humility, confirms that he doesn't know Supreme Lord completely. He knows only little bit of the Supreme Lord. But then he concludes that particular section by saying that it is not important how much of Lord Krishna do we know. It is important what do we do with that understanding of Lord Krishna. How nicely we try to present and explain to innocent people about Lord Krishna. That is what matters the most. And we concluded by giving that wonderful example of young daughter of Malati Prabhu. Her name was Saraswati. How this little girl Saraswati in the 1971 Cross Maidan festival that Srila Prabhupada was holding, she had heard from Srila Prabhupada that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this little girl used to go to different people in that huge crowd that used to assemble every evening at Cross Maidan, and would hold their hand and would ask them, "Do you know who is Krishna?" And persons, whenever a young child is speaking, they are very curious and attentive, and they used to very lovingly say, "No, we don't know." And she used to say, "Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And Srila Prabhupada was very pleased with that effort, and he glorified Saraswati to the devotee, saying, "See, whatever she knows about Krishna, she is willing to put an effort to share it with others." So similarly, Lord Brahma mentions to Narada Muni, it is very important to use our faculties. We also saw that verse from Maitreya Maharshi and Vidura Samvad, where Maitreya Maharshi confirms that all of our faculties, including the sense of speech, the intelligence, the sense of hearing, and all other senses, the working and knowledge acquiring senses, all these faculties, they would remain chaste only if we utilize those facilities in glorifying the Supreme Lord. If we don't glorify the Supreme Lord using these facilities that are given by Krishna, then those senses would become unchaste. They won't remain chaste. That is Maitreya Maharshi's confirmation. So with this as the background, now we move to the last portion of this particular chapter, which is Lord Brahma's implementation of what he just taught to Narada Muni, that one should deploy one's senses to glorify the Supreme Lord using all these facilities, and whatever understanding we are able to get based on our intellect that is granted by Lord Krishna, we should try to utilize that understanding to glorify the Supreme Lord. So we would start with text 38. Anyone has any questions, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, on the background to today's discussion? Hare Krishna. All right.
Clear, Subhakam.
Okay. So let's try to recite the verse. Yasya karmani
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
कर्माणि
gayanti hi asmat adayah
गायन्ति हि अस्मदाद्ययः
यस्मदादयः
न yam vidanti tatvena
न यं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
tasmai bhagavate namah.
तस्मै
भगवते
भगवते
नमः।
नमः।
Hare Krishna. Those devotees who would like to read, keep your hands raised. And one request to devotees reading, that reading is not just for the sake of reading. It is a very important service, because intent is those who are hearing, they should be able to grasp Srila Prabhupada's purport as attentively as possible. Which means when devotees are reading, try to be loud, clear and slow, and try to take pause wherever required, wherever there are commas, full stop. Don't read just like mechanical reading. Read attentively so that do it as a service so that devotees are able to understand the purports nicely. Rohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Let us offer our respectful obeisances onto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnations and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is.
Thank you, Mataji. Let me see the purport. Quite a few of these purports are a bit long, but very important. So we'll try to, yes, Mataji, let's cover the entire purport.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Purport: it is said that the transcendental name, form, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, personality, etc. cannot possibly be perceived by the gross materialistic senses. But when the senses are purified by the process of hearing, chanting, remembering, and worshipping the lotus feet of the holy deity, etc., the Lord reveals himself proportionately to the advancement of the quality of devotional service. Ye yatha mam prapadyante.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we proceed, in this part of the purport, which specific verse is Srila Prabhupada pointing to from his purport? Yes, Rohini Mataji, you can try. Don't worry. Or you remember the English meaning very similar? You remember having discussed it sometime? Or any other devotees? Which is the verse Prabhupada is pointing to? I know for sure that you know, so don't get too stressed. Just try. Don't worry even if it is wrong. That the Lord Krishna's name, form, quality, pastimes cannot be perceived by our material senses. Only when
Is
we... yes, Mataji, Rasarangini
Is
Mataji.
it Atatsi Krishna Namadi Namravi Kranam Indriye 7 kg Swayam Eva Spudat Pada? Is that the one?
Yes, correct. So that verse says, Atah Shri Krishna Nam Adi Na Bhaved Grayam Indriye Sevon Mukhehi Jivado Swayam Cha Eva Spurati Adaha. That Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, by our material senses, they are very difficult to be understood. Only way to understand Lord Krishna is when we engage those senses. Sevon Mukhehi Jivado. When we engage those senses in seva, in devotional service to Lord Krishna, starting with the process of hearing and chanting, then we would be hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping the deity, etc. Then we would be able to understand Krishna by his revelation. We cannot understand Lord Krishna otherwise by our intellect. We cannot understand. Only when we engage the senses in service of the Lord. And we will revisit this point at the end of purport also. What is the takeaway from this purport? Yes, Mataji, please proceed.
One should not expect the Lord to be an order supplying agent who must be present before us as soon as we desire to see him. We must be ready to undergo the prescribed devotional duties following the path shown by the predecessors in the disciplic succession from Brahma, Narada, and similar authorities. As the senses are progressively purified by bona fide devotional service, the Lord reveals his identity according to the spiritual advancement of the devotee. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji. Yes.
But one who is not in the line of devotional service can hardly perceive him simply by calculations and philosophical speculations. Such a hard worker can present a jugglery of words before an audience, but can never know the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his personal feature. The Lord has clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one can know him only by devotional service. No one can know the Lord by any puffed up material process of challenge, but the humble devotee can please the Lord by his earnest devotional activities. Thus, the Lord reveals.
Which verse Prabhupada is pointing to in this purport? The Lord has clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita that one can know him only by devotional service. Which is that verse?
4.11, Prabhuji.
Okay, which one? You can mention the verse. You can refer to Bhagavad Gita.
Not exactly.
Yeah, which is the verse? Don't worry, no worries. Which is that?
4.11, it says, as all surrender unto me, I
Yeah.
reward them accordingly.
Okay. Thank you. There is one more in 18th chapter, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. All of you remember the story of milk-taking brahmachari that we discussed recently from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes? That milk-taking brahmachari was very austere and he felt that, Srivas Thakur felt that he is very austere and that qualification should be good enough for him to view the dancing and chanting of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got very upset.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that, do you think that this particular austerity by itself can make you qualified to view the chanting and dancing of the devotees? And that past time we discussed that how only by devotional service, that is the only qualification. Rest all can be supporting details to advance their devotional service, but they cannot be qualifications by themselves. We need devotional service to the Lord. Yes, Mataji. Thus the Lord.
Prabhuji, actually, while reading the previous verse, I was remembering Narada's devotional service and how he gave a glimpse to Narada, but still he had to purify and then.
Himself. Correct. Yeah, and Narad Muni was very patient to complete rest of his life, right? Of course, thankfully by Lord Krishna's grace, it didn't take very long for the death to come and he to get spiritual body. But till that 5-year-old boy was very, very patient to hear Lord Krishna out and not get restless or impatient. When will I again get the darshan of the Lord? Thank you, Mataji. Please proceed. Thus the Lord
reveals himself proportionately before the devotee. Lord Brahma therefore offers his respectful obeisances as a bona fide spiritual master and advises us to follow the process of Shravana and Kirtana. Simply by this process, or simply by hearing and chanting the glories of the activities of the Lord's incarnation, one can certainly see within himself the identity of the Lord. We have already discussed this subject in volume 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with the verse Tachradhan
Shraddhana Munayo
Tachradhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Gritaya. Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam 1.2.12. The conclusion is that one cannot know the Supreme Personality of Godhead fully by any method, but he can be seen and felt partially by the devotional service process of hearing, chanting, etc. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So again, going back to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, there comes a very important lesson through one incident, that there was a great intimate devotee and associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur, who is none other than Narada Muni, incarnating in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So this personality, Srivas Thakur, he was so much devoted to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and for him, the only purpose and pleasure of his life was to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and please him by his service. So much so that we see extreme case that during one nocturnal kirtan, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing in the house of Srivas Thakur, there was a unfortunate incident. The ailing son of Srivas Thakur, who was unwell, he passed away, and naturally the ladies in the house, they were very sorrow and they were crying within one room. And when Srivas Thakur heard some slight commotion, he went into the room and saw what had happened, and he chastised his wife. He said that, look, if your crying disturbs Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is engaged in chanting and dancing, then I would go to the Ganges and drown myself. And the ladies were somehow trying to control their emotions and not let it out. And the almost whole night passed. Early in the morning, just when the night was about to end, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He stopped his kirtan and inquired with the devotees, has there been any mishap or any unfortunate incident that has happened? And Srivas Thakur said, no, my dear Lord, wherever you are present, there can be no misfortune. So nothing has happened. And then the devotees informed the Lord that Srivas Thakur's son has passed away. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very shocked. He said, why didn't anybody inform me? And Srivas Thakur said, my dear Lord, we didn't want to disturb your chanting and dancing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from the devotees, when did it happen? And they mentioned the early prahar, that means almost 7.5 hours before Srivas Thakur's son had passed away. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the devotees to guide him to the place where the son's body was there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taken into the room. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the body of the son lying on the bed, he is the Supreme Lord. He asked the child to get up. And lo and behold, the child was brought back to the life, and he started speaking with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked that, my dear child, why did you leave your body? Do you want to continue in this life? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him option. And then the boy said, my dear Lord, I am very thankful for you for having given me birth in the family of such a great advanced devotee like Srivas Thakur. It was my great fortune to have Srivas Thakur as my father and Malini, Srivas Thakur's wife, as the child's mother. And but he said that now my time of residence in this particular body has come to an end, and I beg for your permission to proceed to the next life so that I can continue my journey towards attaining your lotus feet. And when Srivas Thakur, all the relatives, that child's mother and all, when they heard the child speaking wisdom, then they were, of course, Srivas Thakur was already enlightened, but they were fully enlightened, seeing how it was the part of Lord's arrangement. And because Srivas Thakur was such a great devotee of the Lord, there was no doubt that the child would attain a very exemplary high destination. So this particular devotee, Srivas Thakur, in the Mahaprakash Leela, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was glorifying Srivas, he asked Srivas Thakur, do you remember that once there was an incident that a great Bhagavatam speaker, his name was Devananda Pandit, he was narrating Bhagavatam to his followers, and Srivas Thakur, walking down the line, when he heard discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, he naturally got attracted and went and sat into that audience. But as Devananda Pandit, he was reciting, chanting the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing, Srivas Thakur went into ecstasy and he could not control his ecstasy, and he started rolling and tears starting flowing from his eyes. And Devananda Pandit's followers, who were immature in their devotional service, they did not understand the exalted position of Srivas Thakur, and they simply picked him up and threw him outside the assembly onto the road. And Devananda Pandit's mistake was that he did not realize the great devotional position of Srivas Thakur, and he did not object or stop his followers from disrespecting Srivas Thakur thus. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu condemned Devanand Pandit. He said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so upset, he wanted to go and tear apart Srimad Bhagavatam of Devananda Pandit. That Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than Lord Krishna. But if the person reciting or discussing Srimad Bhagavatam does not understand the Vaishnava etiquette of properly respecting the devotees, then that discussion is of not much use. So, but somehow Srivas Thakur stopped Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from punishing Devananda Pandit. And then later on, Devananda Pandit lost his taste in Srimad Bhagavatam because of such offense towards a great devotee. And when subsequently Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to go to Srivas Thakur, beg forgiveness in order to reinstate himself in devotional service. And that was the time. So point is, just by material scholarship or other material good qualities, we cannot impress Krishna or understand Krishna. Only way to understand Krishna is simple following of the process of devotional service, which begins with the process of hearing about Krishna, chanting Lord Krishna's names, and worshipping the deities. Very simple. So it is very important. When I was preparing for this session, wanted to share this point that all of us also, while we attend Bhakti Vaibhav and try to understand the lofty philosophy, all of this will have effect only when we are sincerely, regularly following this basic process of devotional service in terms of hearing, chanting, in terms of worshipping. Even if we don't have deities at home, everybody can definitely have at least a picture of Guru Parampara, a picture of Sri Radha Govinda ji. That is bare minimum that is required. And not only that, we should personally engage in performing service to the Lord in terms of at least the basic deity worship, in terms of offering the incense, offering ghee lamp, or offering of flowers, or making the basic offering for the bhoga, the food that we are cooking, by offering it along with tulsi, water, etc. So these are totally, I don't want to use the word non-negotiable, but these are totally basic items of devotional service. And those of us who intend to understand Krishna, we need to follow these basic principles of ABCD: association, books, chanting, diet, etc. And which also includes this Shravanam, Kirtanam, and basic deity worship, etc. So it is very, very important, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Otherwise, our understanding of Bhagavatam and Lord Krishna will be on the platform of intellectual platform. The way Devananda Pandit, he was as the name suggests, he was a scholar, Pandit in Srimad Bhagavatam, but he could not get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initially, having stopped offense towards a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, having not stopped the offense towards the great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is this point clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. Anyone has any? Yasyavatara karmani gayantihi asmat adayah na yam vidanti tatvena. Na yam vidanti tatvena means nobody can understand Krishna tatvena fully. We can understand Krishna little bit, provided we follow these items of devotional service. And if we don't even follow these items, then our understanding will be very, very on the superficial level.
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
Yes,
I
Mataji.
just, I think I didn't catch properly. Why did Devanand Pandit, was he upset with Srivas Thakur, Prabhuji? Devanand Pandit?
Devanand Pandit was not upset with Srivas Thakur, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was upset with Devananda Pandit because his followers, they disrespected Srivas Thakur and Devanand Pandit did not stop them.
Why did they disrespect Srivas Thakur?
Because there was a discourse on Srimad Bhagavatam and Devanand Pandit was discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srivas came and sat in the assembly, and while the discussion was on, Srivas Thakur, remembering Lord Krishna, he went into ecstasy. Like he started rolling on the floor and tears started coming from his eyes. And Devanand Pandit's followers, not understanding Srivas Thakur's position, they simply thought it as a disturbance. They picked up Srivas Thakur and threw him out on the road,
Yes, Lord.
which
Thank
was
you.
a great disrespect to a great devotee.
Yes, Lord. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Anyone else have any questions? Hare Krishna. Is this clear? How do we understand Krishna and what cannot be qualification? What we can do to understand Krishna? Both these points are important. Yes, Prabhuji's,
Yes.
Mataji's, Hare Krishna. All right. So let us proceed. Text 39. Now, Lord Brahma is beginning to glorify the Supreme Lord. And who is the immediate master under whom Lord Brahma works? Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Who is Lord Brahma's immediate superior authority under whose jurisdiction and guidance Lord Brahma works?
Garbhodaya.
Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu.
Correct. Garbhodaksha Vishnu, primarily the Purush Avtaras. So within Purush Avtaras, immediate boss for Lord Brahma is the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Lord Brahma is glorifying the Purush Avtaras in this his glorification. Text 39. Sa esha adya Purushaha
Sa
स
esh
एष आद्य पुरुषः
kalpe kalpe srujati ajaha
कल्पे कल्पे सृजति अजः
atmama atmamani
Atmanam,
atmanatmanam
आत्मात्मनि आत्मानात्मानम्
sasamyachati pati cha.
sa
स संयच्छति
Let me just check the purport. So purport is a bit long, so we'll go through the highlighted part. Usha Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Dandavats Mataji.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. That Supreme Original Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, expanding his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, the first incarnation, creates this manifested cosmos, but he is unborn. The creation, however, takes place in him, and the material substance and manifestations are all himself. He maintains them for some time and absorbs them into himself again.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we go to the purport, can anyone explain in one plain English statement how is Brahma glorifying Purush Avtaras by saying what? What is Brahma's glorification? Anyone? Based on this translation? That the Supreme Personality of
He is
Godhead,
the creator, the maintainer,
He is
and
the source
destroyer.
of all cause of all causes, Prabhuji.
correct. And he is the creator, he maintains
And annihilation.
annihilation. So all of this happens through him. So that is how Brahma ji is glorifying the Purush Avtaras. So let's go through the 1 second now. Did I miss anything? All right. Yes, Usha Mataji, highlighted part.
Yes, Papaji. Purport. The impersonalist gives stress to the impersonal form or feature of the Lord and does not believe in the original personality of the Lord. But the Vaishnavas accept the original form of the Lord, of whom the impersonal form is merely one of the features. The impersonal and personal conceptions of the Lord are existing simultaneously, and this fact is clearly described both in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also in other Vedic scriptures. And it can only be practically realized by the progress of devotional service unto the Lord and never by mental speculation or inductive logic. The impersonalists depend more or less on inductive logic, and therefore they always remain in darkness about the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So, in Srila Prabhupada's explanation on this specific topic of understanding how Lord Krishna is both personal and impersonal, and this question we have asked many times, the answer is yes, Krishna is both personal as well as impersonal, but the impersonal understanding of Lord Krishna is a very preliminary level understanding. Like even Bhagavatam first canto gives the step-by-step understanding. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdate. That means impersonal Brahman understanding of Lord Krishna is a very preliminary understanding. So Srila Prabhupada gives one example to make this easier. He says, just like a person, consider a person has got slightly weak eyesight, okay? And that person observes a train approaching a station in night, darkness, from far away distance. Okay, he's standing on the platform and the train is approaching from a far off distance. What would be the first thing he would notice about the train, Prabhuji's Mataji's? For a person who has, of course, not even who has got weak eyesight, even somebody with a normal eyesight, we would notice the focus coming from the headlight of the train, right? Of course, along with the sound, but the focus, because it is a powerful headlight, we would see the light emanating from the headlight of that particular train locomotive, and that would be the first understanding that the train is approaching. Then when the train slows down, comes near the station platform, the person would notice and understand not only has got the train has got the headlight and the locomotive in the front, but it also has got bogies, several bogies, one after another. So that is a higher understanding of the train by this person having weaker eyesight. And then once the train is actually on the platform, then the person would understand that not only has the train got headlight and the locomotive in front, it not only has it got the bogies, but there are also people sitting within the bogies, right? So that is the more thorough understanding of the train. Similarly, the impersonalist, you can compare them to be like person with a weak eyesight, because from a far off place, the train seems to be only the headlight focus that is reflecting from the train. So it is not that when the train has come closer, the headlight focus has got disappeared, but there are more details to more level that are visible to the observer. Similarly, a impersonalist can be compared to a person with a weak eyesight who consider Krishna only through the impersonal feature. So you can consider that is like a basic preliminary understanding. So it is not that that understanding is wrong, but it is not complete. So train definitely has got headlight. Similarly, Krishna definitely has got his impersonal form also. But that is a very preliminary understanding. Once a person grows in his or her devotional service, then his understanding of Lord Krishna will become slightly better in terms of Krishna's material energies. And Prabhupada will explain that in the next verse, how people, they appreciate Lord Krishna's material energy if they are still at a very basic level of Krishna consciousness, devotional service. Like Prabhupada gives the example of Aborigines, the Adivasis. They worship Krishna in the form of extraordinary natural phenomena that are occurring, including the sunlight, sun god, or the giant Ashwatha, a banyan tree. Such energies of Lord Krishna, which are very magnanimous in their look and form, they attract such aborigines to worship Krishna through those means. So that is still considered a very, very preliminary understanding. And more than that understanding are the devotees who understand Krishna in terms of both his impersonal form, in terms of of his material energy, and most importantly, in terms of his transcendental qualities with which Lord interacts with his devotees. So, excuse me 1 second. So the transcendentalists, the devotees, they have the preliminary plus intermediate plus advanced understanding of Lord Krishna, but the impersonalist, they only have got the preliminary understanding. Anybody has any question between understanding of an impersonalist versus a personalist, a devotee, about the Supreme Lord? What is the difference between the two? And especially the analogy given by Prabhupada in terms of person observing an approaching train. Everybody is clear? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes.
Okay, fine. And similar example is also given by another Acharya in our line of disciplic succession, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But he gives an example which was contemporary at his time when there were no trains in India. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives example just like a person approaching a township, a town. From a far off distance, he would simply consider that township as a mere civilization, few houses in close proximity to each other, that's it, from far off distance. When he approaches that particular town, he would observe that there are individual houses and there are living entities, people living in those houses. And if he further goes inside the town, he would observe, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that there are not just houses, there are parks and places of entertainment where different musicians are performing and people engage in so many activities, so on and so forth. So similarly, an impersonalist is a person who is observing the township from a far off distance. So they have got a very preliminary understanding of the Supreme Lord. The slightly advanced person who is at an intermediate platform, he would appreciate the material energies of Lord Krishna. And an advanced devotee, he would appreciate those transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna using which he reciprocates with his devotees. Only an advanced devotee would understand Krishna as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. This is the word we had used. Anybody remembers? Who has quoted this word? Akhila Rasamrita Murti. In our Bhakti Shastra, we did discuss this term. Who quotes this? Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Try, don't worry about being right or wrong.
It's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhu?
yes,
Rupa.
correct. Dhanyada Meshwari Mataji. So, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes this word to describe Lord Krishna, that he is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That means he is the reservoir of endless mellows of interaction with his loving devotees. So only an advanced devotee can understand Krishna in terms of his transcendental quality. Otherwise, the Gyanis and the Yogis, they have very limited to intermediate understanding of Lord Krishna. Are these verses clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, or are they difficult? Hare Krishna. Gita
Clear,
Mataji.
Prabhuji, they are clear.
Yes,
Hare,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
you can,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
I had one question.
Mhm.
The Brahman realization is also impersonal. So,
Correct.
also, praying the mountain, sun, everything that is actually Virata Rupa, right? That is also impersonal, correct?
Yes. So that is basically there is a specific word Srila Prabhupada will use in the purport to describe these persons whose understanding of Krishna is only up to mountains and all that. So Prabhupada calls these persons, Shastras call these persons as Shaktas. That means they are worshipper of the energy of Lord Krishna. So for them, understanding of Lord Krishna is in the form of his energies, but they don't understand the personal form of the Lord and the qualities and so on.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, and I guess people from South India, they know this word very well, Shaktas. That means the worshippers of the energy of the Lord, Shaktis of the Lord. Usha Mataji, you can read through conclusion.
Yes. The conclusion is that these are all but displays of the Lord's inconceivable personal energies, of which no one can have any full information. This point we have already discussed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So that means the energies of the Lord, they are also displays of Lord Krishna's various energies, like in terms of the big mountains or the big trees or the sun and the moon and so on and so forth. Entire cosmic manifestation, it is the display or manifestation of Lord Krishna's energies, and devotees sees them in this manner. So earlier verse, text 39, was the glorification of the Supreme Lord in the Purusha Avatara format, in the form, including Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. These two verses, text 40 and 41, this is the glorification of the Lord for his impersonal form, the Brahman form. So first, Lord Brahma glorifies the Purusha Avataras, how they create, maintain and annihilate, and then he glorifies Lord's impersonal form. So let's recite. Vishuddham kevalam jnanam
विशुद्धं केवलं ज्ञानं
pratyak samyak avasthitam
प्रत्यक् सम्यक् अवस्थितम्
satyam purnam anadi antam
सत्यं पूर्णम् अनाद्यन्तम्
nirgunam nityam advayam
निर्गुणं नित्य अद्वयम्
Rushe vidanti munayah
ऋषे विदन्ति मुनयः
prashanta atmendriyashayah
प्रशान्त आत्मेन्द्रियक्षयः
yada tat eva sat tarkais
यदा तदेवान्तर्कैः
tirodhiyeta viplutam.
तिरोधीयेति विप्लुतम्
Hare Krishna, Gita Mataji, translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranams.
Dandavat.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The personality of Godhead is pure, being free from all contaminations of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all-pervading, without beginning or end, and without rival. O Narada, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when completely freed from all material hankerings and when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is disordered and the Lord disappears from our sight.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we go to the purport, one word to highlight is tarka. Tarka means speculation. So Lord Brahma specifically mentions that we cannot understand Krishna, not only us, but even the great personalities like the Gyanis and Yogis, they cannot understand Krishna through tarka. And there is that verse also, right, by Yamaraj, Tarko Pratishtha. So in that verse also, Yamaraj does mention the initial line of this verse is Tarko. Tarko means by speculation, one cannot understand Lord Krishna. Can anyone open this verse, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? What is Tarko Pratishtha? Mahajano yena gata sapantha. What is the verse number for this? Yeah, Tarko Pratishtha Shutayo Vibhinna. That by tarka or by speculation, we cannot understand the Supreme Lord Krishna. We need to follow the footsteps of predecessor Mahajan authorities with great reverence and respect. Then only we can understand Krishna up to a certain degree. So then we go to the purport. Again, it is a long purport. I request you all to read at your leisure. We will go through the highlighted part. Gita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Mayavada philosophy tries to designate the Lord as contaminated by the material body when he accepts forms of incarnation. This sort of interpolation is completely denied herein by the explanation that the Lord's position is pure and unalloyed in all circumstances.
Thank you, Mataji. So my suggestion is, rather than be reading the highlighted part, I would give it as a 2-minute classroom exercise for all of you. You can refer to the purport of this text 40-41 and answer 2 questions. What are the 2 major Mayavad misconceptions that Srila Prabhupada clarifies in this purport? That is the question. Okay, and we would request each and every one of you to go through the purport and try to answer, especially those who have not answered. Don't worry even with being wrong. That is not a problem. Everybody is clear with the question? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna. What
Can you
are
please repeat it, Prabhuji, the question?
Yeah, the question is, what are the 2 major Mayavadi misconceptions that Srila Prabhupada clarifies in this purport? Hare Krishna. So it's a bit long purport. Take 4-5 minutes to go through and raise your hands whenever you are ready. Do we need more time? Prabhujis, Matajis, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Will I try, please?
yeah, I can go with one. You want me to?
Okay, one second. Let me see. I want everyone to try, and there are few
Sure.
I don't get a chance to speak. Gunavati Jayashree Mataji, you would like to try? Hare Krishna. Or
Hare Krishna,
Hi,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu. Hi, Prabhu. Will I try?
Prema Priyaman, hold on one second.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Yeah.
Gunavati Mataji.
Me, Prabhu? Myself?
No. Gunavati Mataji.
Okay, sorry.
Gunavati Mataji, would you like to try? Don't worry about being wrong. What are the two Mayavadi misconceptions Srila Prabhupada clears? See, our acharyas have put lot of efforts to give these purports. So while we don't claim that we would understand everything, we should at least put our intelligence to best use to try to understand this, right? Otherwise, their efforts won't be justified. Nityangi Mataji, Hare Krishna, would you like to try?
Prabhuji, one thing is like
Yes.
they say that after after it merges with the after that one merges with the
Supreme Absolute.
the Supreme Personality. That is one misconception which is there for the Mayavadi thing. Like we are we are not we are qualitatively one with the God, but not quantitatively. We cannot merge with the Lord out there.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Gunavati Mataji. All right, let me ask few more devotees. Nityangi Mataji, would you like to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pancham Pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, one misconception is Mayavadis say that when the Supreme Lord comes to this world, he accepts a material body that is created by Maya. But Prabhupada explains that this is incorrect. Because the Lord's body is always completely spiritual and transcendental. So even when he appears in the material world.
All right.
So even then, form is never going to contaminate it, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So I think both the devotees have answered. Maybe the first one we would explain a bit more in detail. So the Mayavadis, they mention or proclaim that when Brahman is put under ignorance, only then the Brahman appears as Jiva. That means when Lord Krishna appears in this material world, he takes a body which is under the three modes of material nature and which is made of Maya. That is the Mayavadi conception. And when that ignorance is taken away, the Jiva soul merges into the absolute. So these are the two misconceptions, that when Lord appears, he appears in a material form which is contaminated by the three gunas, and Brahman, when it is put under ignorance, it becomes Jiva. So the Supreme Lord and Jiva, they can never be same. They are same only qualitatively, but quantitatively, as Mataji mentioned, Gunavati Mataji mentioned, they are both very different. So there is no question of a Jiva merging into the absolute and losing its identity. He's always an individual, even when the Jiva achieves Sayujya Mukti, for example. Just that there is no reciprocation of that relationship in terms of the servitor and the servant. That relationship is no more there. That is the only reason why the devotee doesn't want to accept Sayujya Mukti. So these are the two misconceptions that Srila Prabhupada clarifies or answers in this purport. Anybody has any question on this? Prabhuji's Mataji,
Yes,
or
Prabhu.
anything to add?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
One.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
Sorry,
Mataji.
someone wants to talk. Prabhu, I actually had a doubt in this particular purport. That is why I mainly raised.
Sure.
Two things I understood. One is when the Lord is coming, He is taking a body, and that body is material, and therefore it is contaminated, and then it gets purified. This is one version of Mayavati. The second version is what you're telling. I mean, what you explained is the Brahman is now having contamination, right, and is under the three modes. Right now, after the Brahman gets pure, then it will go and merge with absolute. So they are telling that the God and Jiva are the same, right? Logically,
Correct.
then where is the absolute to merge, Prabhu? That I didn't understand. So if
Where
God
is
only is, where is the absolute? So according to them,
Oh.
Lord is only Jiva, then it gets purified, right, in the modes. Then after that, it will go and merge with the absolute. According to them, if Lord is come as Jivas, then from which absolute will they merge?
Good question. Okay. So according to them, they follow the Srila Prabhupada calls in this, I believe it is in the same purport. They have a misconception that just like in the material thing, when something is divided into many several parts, the original thing disappears. Like say, for
Right.
example, if we have any fruit, an apple or a cucumber, then if we divide it into many different parts, there is no more an original apple or original cucumber. But that is not the case with the Supreme Lord. So he is omnipresent. That means even when unlimited complete parts come out of him, still he remains
It's
the
still
complete.
complete.
He is still the complete whole. So the Mayavadis, they consider that Supreme Lord, he is eternally existing in the spiritual world as Supreme Brahman. But when he needs to appear in this material world, he can't
Only then he
appear
gets
in his, then he needs to appear in a form which is contaminated by the three gunas and which is under Maya. That is their
Got it.
concept. And when he goes back to the spiritual world, then he again becomes uncontaminated and merges in his absolute self.
Got it, Prabhu. Very
Okay.
nice.
Of course.
So,
Got it.
Prabhuji, is it right to say that the Mayavadis believe that both cannot coexist in the material world?
Basically correct.
They
So
cannot coexist in the material world.
correct. They feel that if the Lord
Yeah.
has to come to this material world, he also must come
Is
like
contaminated.
the way we come. The way we come. Yeah.
Okay.
So do Mayavatis believe Maya is more powerful than Krishna, Prabhu? I mean, from
Yes,
I don't know. I mean,
because
that's how I.
they believe that Krishna, when he comes to this world, he comes under Maya, he comes under the three modes. So according to them, then obviously Krishna is, Srila Prabhupada says that then it defeats the very mention
Purpose.
that Krishna is the supreme, because they consider that Krishna can come under Maya, but devotees always see that Krishna is beyond Maya, is never under Maya. So these are the
Sure.
two misconceptions that Srila Prabhupada clarifies as part of the purport. And these are philosophically very, very basic tenets of the Vaishnava philosophy, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. So nobody should feel it as technical item. This is the, if we don't have this understanding clear, our bhakti will remain very fragile. So our foundation should be very, very solid. Understanding should be very clear. No ambiguities. Anyone else
Hare
has?
Krishna,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prema Priyama.
Though Lord, when he comes as an incarnation, he sometimes his pastimes are like the mundane. They're like that, but they're not. They should not be considered like that, Prabhuji, because
They are never mundane.
yeah. So
Krishna's
like for instance,
pastimes are
Prabhuji,
always transcendental.
yeah, they should not, even if he tries to behave like an ordinary householder, still it should not be considered as a normal activity. It's
Correct.
transcendental.
Yeah, what to speak of householder, even when Krishna takes animal forms, including that of abominable animals, materially, like Varaha, for example, but his form as a boar is not in any way contaminated. It is like Lord Varaha Dev's, when he shakes his body and the water drops from the hairs of his body, when they spread across the cosmic manifestation, they purified all the three worlds. So while normal boar is an abominable animal, when Lord Krishna takes that form, it is not slightest bit contaminated. It is all transcendental.
The Lord can never be wrong.
Correct. Never be wrong and never be mundane.
No.
Always transcendental. Hare Krishna. Anyone else wants to add something? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Divya Rukmini Mataji. Yes.
Prabhu, is it more clear to that Achintya Bheda Peda? Is it something is a Vishuddham
Yeah.
and Adva?
Yeah,
Something
so
like
Krishna and the Jivas, they are always different quantitatively, they are same qualitatively. Okay,
Yeah.
and that word is also used by Prabhupada in the purport, where he says that Krishna is that in the same purport, Prabhuji, I think I have highlighted also, that Krishna is infinite and we are infinitesimal. Yes, he mentions in the same purport. He is
Yeah.
therefore infinite and the living entities are infinitesimal. Infinitesimal means very, very minute. We are very, very anu, infinitesimal. And Krishna is Vibhu. He is unlimited. He is infinite. So qualitatively we are same. Quantitatively we are very different. So it is Achintya Bhed Abheda Tattva.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Maybe we'll take 1 minute double confirmation. Rajiv Mukha Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Any Rajiv Mukha Keshav Prabhu? Or
Hare Krishna,
Venkat?
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Is this clear?
Yeah, it is clear. Because the Mayavad philosophy is incorrectly positions the impersonal Brahman as is real, while the personal form of God is the temporary.
Thank you, Prabhu. And also understand the analogy of the person with a weak eyesight. What to speak of weak eyesight? He observing train from a far off distance. He would consider it only up to its limited capabilities and the qualities in terms of the headlight focus, but won't understand the details. So similarly, impersonalists, they understand Krishna only up to preliminary level, not into detail. So let us proceed. The concluding part of this chapter is very nice, and I hope it would definitely enlighten all of us. Text 42. Please try to repeat. Adyovatara Purusha Purasya.
Adyo avatar purusha parasya.
Kala Swabhava Shad Asan Manascha.
Kala swabhava manasya.
Dravyam Vikaro Guna Indriyani.
Dravyam vikaro guna indriyani.
Virat Swarat Sthashnu Charishnu Bhumnaha.
Virat varasthashnu charishnu bhumnaha.
Hare Krishna. Tarini Krishna Kanta Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Panchanga Pranams.
Dandas.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Karna Navashai Vishnu is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects, mind, the elements, the material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form of the Lord, Garbhoda Kashayi Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, being both moving and non-moving.
Thank you. So Lord Brahma is continuing his glorification by giving positions and roles of different Vishnu forms of the Lord, Purush Avtaras. That how Karana Dokshaya Vishnu or Karana Vashaya Vishnu, same person. He is the master of eternal time, space, cause, effect, mind, elements, and the Garbhodakshay, universal form of the Lord, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the sum total of all living entities, all are originating from Mahavishnu or Karanodakshay Vishnu. So let me just quickly check the purport. Yes, this you can read through. Once. Yes, Mataji. Translation, text 43 and 44. 43 to 45. Tarini
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes, sir. I myself, Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, great generators of living beings like Daksha and Prajapati, yourself, Narada, and the Kumaras, heavenly demigods like Indra and Chandra, the leaders of the Burloka planets, the leaders of the earthly planets, the leaders of the lower planets, the leaders of the Gandharva planets, the leaders of the Vidyadhara planets, the leaders of the Charnaloka planets, the leaders of the Yaksha, Rakshasas, and Uragas, the great sages, the great demons, the great atheists, and the great spacemen, as well as the dead bodies, evil spirits, satans, jinn, kushmandas, great aquatics, great beasts, and great birds, etc. In other words, anything and everything which is expansionally possessed of power, opulence, mental and perpetual dexterity, strength, forgiveness, beauty, modesty, opulence, and breeding, whether in form or formless, may appear to be the specific truth and the form of the Lord, but actually they are not so. They are only a fragment of the transcendental potency of the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So here, Lord Brahma is, we can roughly categorize the different entities that he had mentioned as the living entities in the higher planetary system, right? Starting with Satyaloka, Lord Brahma himself, plus his next progeny, including the Prajapatis, the Devatas, the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, etc. Not only the residents of the higher planetary systems, even those of the lower planetary systems, including the Yakshas and the Rakshasas and the Athist, and even those living entities who do not have the gross body, including the spirits, evil spirits, and the Satans, and the jinn, Kushmandas, etc., plus the different varieties of living entities, they all, whatever power they have, great power and strength they have, it is all coming from the Supreme Lord. And none of these entities, they are the Supreme Lord, except for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna himself. So what is the takeaway from this? That while we respect all these personalities, a devotee ultimately understands in principle that even these lower species who do not have the gross body, including the jinn and the ghost and the satans, etc., they have their power ultimately coming from Lord Krishna himself. That means if we are properly engaged in devotional service, we really don't have to worry too much or be too much anxious about the power and influence of these either higher beings or even the lower beings. We respect them from a distance, but we ultimately worship and surrender ourselves to the Supreme Lord, knowing that this particular jinn or this particular ghost or this particular subtle body does not have any strength to harm or disturb a devotee until and unless Krishna allows them or grants them. So a devotee need not fear any of these entities. Okay, of course, we are not very audacious or we are not rude to them or disrespectful to them. We still offer them our respects as a energy of Lord Krishna, but in terms of surrendering ourselves, a devotee will surrender only to Lord Krishna, knowing him to be the source of everything. So maybe we'll just cover the highlighted purport. Tarini Mataji, purport. Hare Krishna. So if Mataji is not able to unmute, Gunavati Mataji, you want to read
Sorry,
through?
Prabhuji, I was reading in mute.
Okay.
Can I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, you can continue the yellow part and Gunavati Mataji can read through the blue part.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji, thank you. Purport. Those in the list given above, beginning from the name Brahmaji, the first living creature within the universe, down to Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Narada, and other powerful demigods, men, supermen, sages, rishis, and other low creatures of extraordinary strength and opulence, including the dead bodies, satans, evil spirits, jinn, aquatics, birds and beasts may appear to be the Supreme Lord, but factually none of them is the Supreme Lord. Every one of them possesses only a fragment of the great potency of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Gunavati Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dhanavad.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. The less intelligent man is surprised to see the wonderful action of material phenomena. As the aborigines are fearful of the great thunderbolt, a great and gigantic banyan tree, or a great lofty mountains in the jungle. For such underdeveloped humans, being merely the slight display of the Lord's potency is captivating. A still more advanced person is captivated by the powers of the demigod and goddesses. Therefore, those who are simply astonished by the powers of anything in the creation of the world, without any factual information of the Lord Himself, are known as Shaktas or worshippers of the great powers. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So here it is mentioned that all these energies of the Lord, sometimes the manifestations of those energies appears very wonderful to the less intelligent class of people. That it is not that its appearance doesn't appear wonderful to the devotees, but devotees appreciate the source from where these energies are coming. Devotee doesn't get stuck just worshipping, just at the level of worshipping the energies itself. Whereas the less intelligent class of people, like example is given, the aborigines, they worship various natural phenomena like the huge mountains or the banyan trees, something which is manifestation of the wonderful energies of Lord Krishna. These people are very much attracted to, stunned by, and they worship those energies by themselves. And that's why these people are called as Shaktas. That means those people who are the worshippers of Lord's energies, great powers. But devotees, while they respect these powers, they worship the Supreme Lord from whom these energies are emanating. Is this clear, Prabhuji's, Matajis? Who are Shaktas? What is the difference between a devotee and a Shakta? Shakta means those who appreciate and worship the energies of the Lord. So now we come to the concluding verse of this particular chapter, which is very important. So please try to, yeah. Gunavati Mataji, you can read through this. When the Lord.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
When the Lord advises in Bhagavad Gita to worship Him alone, it is to be understood that worshipping Lord Krishna includes worshipping all that is mentioned, because He, Lord Krishna, includes everyone.
Yes. So if we worship Lord Krishna, it would automatically include the worship of his energies as well. So we don't have to worship his energies separately. So now let us focus on the last concluding verse, which is Lord Brahma's conclusion and link to the next chapter. So let's try to recite. Pradhanyato yan rusha atmananti rusha amananti
Pradhanyato yan
Leelavataran purushasya bhumnaha
Leelavasaran Purushasya Bhumnaha
apiyatam karna kashaya shoshan
Apiyatam Karna Kashaya Shoshan
anukramishe ta iman supeshan.
Anukramishyeta Iman Supeshan.
Anybody would like to read through Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
May I, Prabhuji?
Okay. Prema Priya Mataji, you can read through translation, and Lalita Vinodini Mataji, you can read through the purport.
Okay, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. O Narada, now I shall state, one after another, the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela Avataras. Hearing of their activities counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother.
Yes.
So before we go to the purport, Lord Brahma is telling to Narada Muni that, my dear Narada, whatever questions you asked in terms of all those 6 questions, let me just flash them on the slide. That what are the characteristics of the universe? What is the background of the universe? How is it created, conserved? What does it depend upon? And what is it composed of? So in previous chapter, chapter number 5, and this particular chapter, chapter number 6, Brahmaji says that I have answered all those questions. And those questions related to the Purush Avtaras, which are to be understood. We discussed it many times that some of these details may seem a bit technical, but they are to be understood in order to understand the greatness of Lord Krishna's position. However, now Brahmaji is saying, after I have answered your question in these 2 chapters, chapter 5 and 6, now I would discuss something which you have not even asked, but which is very close to my heart. And why these topics are close to Lord Brahma's heart? In specifically the details of activities of the Lord as Leela Avtaras, Lord Brahma gives the 4 reasons in these verses. So let's see which are those reasons. 1 second. I should ask this question after the purport to list down those 4 reasons. Fine, let's go through the purport. Lalita Vinodini Mataji, complete purport.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress
you can start from as it was.
Okay, fine. Yeah. As it was said in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.8, one cannot be fully satisfied by hearing unless and until one is given a chance to hear of the transcendental activities of the Lord. Yes. So Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance.
We'll take a pause here.
Okay.
And which section of Bhagavatam is Prabhupada referring to in 158? You can refer. What is the discussion happening in 158? Anyone?
Narada.
Narada Muni doing what? He is doing critical assessment of Vyasadeva's writings by saying that until and unless, my dear Vyasadeva, you glorify the Supreme Lord, neither you will be satisfied, nor those people who would refer to your composition, they would also not get satisfaction. So Prabhupada is referring to that conversation to quote that one can only be fully satisfied by hearing only when one is hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord. So my dear Narada, while I have answered your queries which related to the activities of Purush Avtaras in the matter of creation, now you hear from me what is very dear to my heart, which is the activities, the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So activities of the Purush Avtaras are to be understood and activities of the Leela Avtaras are to be relished. These are 2 different things. So what you heard was a technical detail. Now you hear what is very, very relishable. That is very important. Is it clear, Prabhuji's Mataji? Hare Krishna. Reference to 158?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord as he comes and manifests himself here on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost every one of us is inclined to hear news and talks broadcast by the radio stations. But the difficulty is that no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all those messages. The cause of such a dissatisfaction is the incompatibility of the message with the innermost stratum of the living soul. Should I continue?
Yes.
This transcendental literature is especially prepared by Srila Vyasadeva to give the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord, as instructed by Sri Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva. Such activities of the Lord are principally of 2 varieties. One concerns the mundane manifestation of the material creative force, and the other deals with his pastimes in the form of different incarnations in terms of time and place.
Yes. Yes. Complete the purport.
Okay, fine. There are innumerable incarnations of the Lord, like the waves of rivers, a river flowing constantly in and out. Less intelligent persons take more interest in the creative force of the Lord in the material world, and being disconnected from their relationship with the Lord, they put forward many theories of the creation in the name of scientific research. The devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently by the action and reaction of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There are 1,001 rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literatures. Sri Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so that they may be drank by Narada as transcendental nectar. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Purusha Sukta confirmed. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Excellent purport by Srila Prabhupada. Let's try to break it down slightly. Which verse of Bhagavatam is Srila Prabhupada pointing to in these highlighted lines? There are 1001 rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literatures. Which
Is it
verse?
Tatvag Visargo Janataga Viplava?
See, that particular verse, it says that, okay, so that particular activity which does not glorify the Supreme Lord, it is simply a place of pilgrimage for a crow. And whereas those literatures which even incorrectly composed, but which glorify the Supreme Lord, are relished by the devotees. That is the meaning, okay? Okay. There is one very specific verse. Let me give you a hint. Namanishta Prabhuji is very fond of this verse. That there are thousands. So the hint is there are thousands of topics for a materialist to discuss, but they don't attract devotees. Which is that verse? For a materialist, thousands of topics of interest. Yes. So this is the verse where Shukadev Goswami, in the beginning of Canto 2, he mentions to Maharaj Parikshit what should be heard, discussed, remembered, meditated upon. And he mentions Shrotavya Dini Rajendra Nunam Shanti Sahasrashaha. Sahasra means thousands. That, my dear Maharaj Parikshit, for a materialist, because they are apashyatam atma tattvam, because they are blind to the path of self understanding or self-realization, for such a Grahamedi, there are sahasrashaha, there are thousands of topics for discussion. And Srila Prabhupada gives a detail in the purport at his contemporary time that so many people are very fond of hearing news broadcast on the radio stations. And we can extrapolate this in the modern times to see the shorts and the short videos on Twitter and YouTube. People spend endless number of hours trying to scroll through or Instagram and all that. These shorts which are not adding any value to the life, but they are just consuming our time and attention for that long period of time. But ultimately, what is the effect? Hours and hours of viewing such shorts and videos, they don't give satisfaction to the heart. Only thing that would give satisfaction to the heart is if we discuss and attend to those topics which are glorifying or which are describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Only then we would be able to get satisfaction. Otherwise, the heart's yearning will simply grow more and more for these mundane topics, and no amount of viewing those shorts would give us contentment, satisfaction. So that is the difference between attending to mundane topics versus attending to transcendental activities of the Lord. Now, one question for everybody based on the translation and the purport we discussed for text 46. And I want specifically those devotees who have not spoken to try and answer it. Which are the different reasons? And I think this will be easier to answer. I have highlighted certain words in this verse. Which are the different reasons that Lord Brahma gives to hear and discuss the transcendental activities of the Lord? So please refer back to Srimad Bhagavatam, refer back to the translation and purport, and list down 4 reasons that Brahmaji gives.
4 reasons for why should one listen to Krishna?
Listen to Lord Krishna's transcendental activities, especially the Leela Avtaras. Brahmaji gives 4 reasons. So, let me know once you are ready, and specifically those devotees who have not spoken, please try and answer. Don't worry, even if you are wrong. Everybody is clear about the question? Anybody wants me to repeat?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I try?
Yes, sorry. Sorry, who is this? Gunavati Mataji? Hare
Yes,
Krishna?
Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
you can mention one reason. What is one reason?
One is like, it is like, okay, one of it is like it clears the heart of accumulated mundane filth. Like,
Filth.
it
Correct.
purifies our hearts. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So Gunavati Mataji is specifically referring to this yellow part, which is Karna, Kashaya, Shoshan. It means that hearing about Krishna, it purifies our heart of all the misgivings, and we are not interested then to attend to mundane subject matter. The yearning for attending to mundane subject matter, it recedes, it depletes, it goes down when we attend to Lord Krishna's transcendental activity. That is one reason. Thank you. Thank you, Gunavati Mataji. Usha Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The other is the pastimes of the Lord are described as highly pleasing and transcendental, and it is like nectar to be enjoyed and relished.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. So it is mainly relating to Supeshan. What is the word to word translation? It is all very pleasing to hear. And because it is very pleasing to hear, Mataji has covered 2 points. Because it is very pleasing to hear, it is relishable. So activities of Lord in terms of creation of this world are to be understood, and transcendental activities of Leela Avtaras are to be relished. We understand the difference between the two, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I don't want to use the word bitter medicine because Krishna's activities are not really bitter, but what we mean is, even if something seems a bit technical, we should still put our intelligence. That is the activities of Purush Avtaras. But Leela Avtaras, we should not miss hearing because they are very, very relishable. So we covered 3 reasons. Who wants to cover the last one? Let me ask somebody who has not spoken at all. Devika, Mataji, or
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'll just try Prabhu.
Yes, yes,
It will
ma'am.
help us to get the liberation, and also
Okay.
before that it also help us to get into the devotional mode.
Thank you, Mataji. And
Hare Krishna,
the
Prabhu.
highlighted part, Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Rajiv Mukha Prabhu. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
the transcendental pastimes, they are worthy of being cherished in the heart.
Yes, so that is correct. So these are apiyatam, they are relishable. Yes. Then first one highlighted line in blue, what does it mean? What is one more reason that Brahmaji gives?
To realize the
Pradhanyato,
ultimate goal
yeah.
of life, which is bhakti and submissive to bhakti.
Yes, so what does it mean? Yan Rusha. He's giving pramana. He's giving reference of great personalities, great rishis. What do the great rishis do? Pradhanyato yan Rusha amananti. That means even the great personalities, great rishis and all, they also give pradhanya. They also give priority to attending to these topics of Leela Avtaras. So let me just go back to the slide.
You mean, is it like Atma Ramaya Munaya? Even they like, is that what you're trying to tell, Prabhu?
Correct. So even great, but not just the Atma Ramas, but even great Rishis. So they may not exactly be on the platform of Atma Rama, but they give priority to hearing Krishna Katha. So these are the 4 reasons. The activities of the Leela Avtaras are very pleasing to hear. Supeshan, Karna, Kashaya, Shoshan. They dry up the desire to hear any mundane subject matter. Apiyatam. It is mean to be relished within the heart. And pradhanyato yan rusha amananti. The sages glorify the activities of Leela Avtara for its valuable content or for its content. So these are the 4 reasons. So now what Brahmaji is saying, I answered you what you wanted to hear, the process of creation. Now you hear what I want to narrate from my side, even if you have not asked for it, which is activities of the Leela Avtaras. So this is the link between chapter 5, 6 verses next chapter, which is chapter number 7. Is it clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Ananta Ajiteshwar Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Any queries or anything you want to add? Ananda Prada Indulekha Mataji, Rati Prada Mataji, and Reena Mataji, and Mamta Nagvekar Mataji, and Venkata Narasimha Prabhu, Vandita Mataji, etc. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any question? Everybody got what is the conclusion of Lord Brahma and what we are starting next week, chapter 7 onwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's why the title of the next chapter is Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions. So basically Lord Brahma will be describing the various Leela Avtaras of the Supreme Lord. So yeah, this is the word Leela Avatar that comes in the verse. So we'll conclude here. One last question for everyone, just a 2 minutes pondering over what we discussed. So what is the learning or takeaway from these 2 chapters? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, quickly one by one. Lord Brahma, he takes great pain to describe to Narada Muni all 6 answers to all 6 questions. So what are the takeaways for us from these teachings of Lord Brahma? One by one. And it did not be in a proper sequence, but at least should cover the essence of Lord Brahma's answers. Lalita Vinodini Mataji, any thought? What is a takeaway for us from this explanation? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, any thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I don't know whether I am telling right or wrong, but Lord's potency being unlimited, and then understanding his potency itself is not possible by just hearing. So we need to perform the devotional service, which in turn the Lord only will shower mercy, Prabhuji, to understand him.
Yes.
So
Very
that's the
nice.
take home.
Thank you, Mataji.
So to reinforce understanding with knowing about the pastimes, Prabhuji.
Sorry, repeat that.
Understanding is one thing, to
Mhm.
relish the pastimes.
Yes, so
Reinforce
yes,
with that.
correct. So understanding the activities of Purush Avtaras in terms of creation is definitely important. Without that, we won't understand Lord Krishna's position. But after one has tried to understand the position of the Supreme Lord, it is also very important to relish the pastimes of the Lord in terms of Leela Avtaras.
Leela Avtaras.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other point? So don't just think about concluding
Prabhuji.
part of chapter 6.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in between somewhere we read, no? Brahmaji is not the original creator, it is the Lord himself is the creator.
Yes, in chapter 5 we did see that. Okay, and in chapter 6 also Lord Brahma mentioned that only somebody who is illusioned by the external energy of the Lord would consider great personalities like Lord Brahma and all to be independent. But Brahma mentions that he is creating simply on top of what has been created by the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Mataji. What else? What else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Devika Mataji.
Yeah. We will not know fully about Krishna, but whatever we know about, very little we know about him, we try to implement whatever we know, we try to implement in our life.
Very nice. So whatever little bit of Lord Krishna we know, we try to leverage on that in terms of trying to glorify and engage in Lord Krishna's service based on that understanding. Thank you, Mataji. What
Hare
else?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah,
Gunavati Mataji.
whatever ashram we are into, we need to follow strict rules of austerity, like for the particular ashram. Then only we can get out of this material world.
Yes, we had that verse in between that tapasya, certain level of tapasya is very, very helpful and conducive to spiritual advancement. And without tapasya, in any role that we are playing, it would be very difficult to understand Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. What
Hare
else?
Krishna.
Yes,
Hare
Divya
Krishna.
Rukmini Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, today we learned about that impersonalism, no?
Correct.
Personal form of that, something like ashta.
Yeah, so
Some word is there, no? Some you explained that one, no? So I don't remember that that how the impersonalist they are thinking like avidya and sorry that I forgot that sloga, Prabhu. One second, Prabhu.
mention the English.
Yeah, one second, Prabhu. Some
What is the analogy did we
that you
mention?
asked for the two major that
Misconception.
Mayavadis.
Mayavadi.
Yeah. That is the then we answered that one. No? So all the devotees answered that. No, there is one word is coming. No, some ashta, something like that. Tarka.
Tarka. That one cannot.
Yeah.
One cannot understand Krishna by speculation.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Thank you.
impersonalist. How they're thinking about the Lord. There is a person. Yeah, it's something like that. Yes, sir. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Divya Rukmini.
Prabhuji, one cannot understand him with, puffed up in actually with a challenge. You have to understand him only through earnest devotional service.
Yes, Brahmaji mentions that without devotional service
cannot be understood.
Yeah, and Srila Prabhupada quotes verse 1 to 12 to explain. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes that verse. Yes. Tat Shaddadhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam Bhaktya Shuta Grahitaya. So Bhaktya Shuta Grahitaya. Only devotees through the process of hearing Lord Krishna can Lord Krishna be understood. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult to understand Lord Krishna just based on mundane scholarship, not possible.
His grace is proportional to the devotion, surrender.
Yes.
Extent of surrender that decides his grace upon us.
Thank you,
Abhijanati.
Thank you, Mataji. Usha Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Even the very highly pious and liberated souls pay their humble obeisances to and worship the Lord. So the neophytes have to also, take that into consideration and unconditionally worship the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, worshipping the Lord, hearing, chanting, worshipping the Lord, these are of paramount importance. And we saw that if we have to realize the knowledge we are gaining through these studies and all in our life, it is very important we engage in these items of devotional service, especially deity worship in its simple form. Hare Krishna. So, Rohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The last shloka that we discussed, the 4 items, I remember 3. The last one, I don't. It removes the accumulated mundane filth. Then it is pleasing to hear and it is to be relished. Fourth one is?
Fourth one is the sages. They glorify the activities of Leela Avtaras as something very, very valuable. Pradhanyato yan rusha amananti. They give pradhanya, priority to hearing the pastimes of Leela Avtaras, the great sages. That is the 4th reason.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you all very much, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. So these 2 chapters were, to be honest, really, I don't want to use the material term tough nut, but it really took a lot of effort to go through these verses and try to make a flow. And while Brahmaji himself says that he knows Krishna only little bit, of course, we should follow the same mood that we have put our effort to try and understand Krishna through some of these technical parts of Srimad Bhagavatam. So next week onwards, we would again come back to discussing the transcendental activities of the Lord. So thank you for bearing through this discussion.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Prabhu, the coming Sunday, we will have our exam. So I just thought I'll tell you at 9 a.m. And
Sure.
This presentation, latest one, you will upload, right, Prabhu?
I'll upload straight away. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Vamcha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Vaishnav Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Radhika Mataji, you are the host. You have to.
Yeah, I'm just ending the things.